The Slate Quarries is just this amazing place to go climbing. It's full of these giant blank walls that are sometimes split by incredibly visually pleasing aesthetic features. The really unique thing about Slate is if there are no holes, you just can't move. It's so smooth, there's no way that friction alone is going to get you up these things. You have to rely on the features that occasionally form in the rock. That's the funny thing about Slate. These features, they've not formed naturally, they've been made by men. You've got pitches like the Quarryman, which is probably one of the most beautiful climbing pitches I've ever done in my life, and it's 100% man-made. It had this reputation, this almost mythical status of being one of the hardest, weirdest routes in the country. You only have to watch the footy of Johnny in Stone Monkey to be, intrigued but at the same time repulsed from the thing.
I think the first route I did in the quarries was Doors Perception, if I remember rightly, and I bolted that in April '85 and Windows or something. When I did those two together, I thought, oh, I'm climbing better than I ever had, and I realised I could do some new things in the quarries, but I didn't really know them that well. And then I walked up to Tulth Mower and I saw this amazing wall. I remember walking in there and looking up, and there's this huge open book groove. It wasn't what Joe had mentioned. He'd mentioned the big back wall where he'd been climbing, doing, 1,000-foot routes. But this groove was so obviously, brilliant thing to try and climb.
I don't quite remember the first time I watched Stone Monkey, but I think it's safe to say it was a long time ago. And right from that first moment, I think the Quarryman's been a route that I dreamed of climbing, but despite spending a lot of time in the Slate Quarries as a kid and growing up, and in fact through my entire climbing life, it's a route that I never went to look at, and now I can see it's because I was always intimidated by it. Going into a route like the Quarryman, a route that is so unlike any route I've climbed before, a route that when you first put your hands on the rock you don't understand a thing, and slowly figuring it all out, it's kind of like learning to climb again. And in addition to that, it's a route that was first put up by Johnny Dawes, who is probably the guy that I owe the most to. He's probably been one of the most influential characters on my climbing.
The day of the ascent, I wanted to try and make it as close to the experience that Johnny would have had as possible. I decided to try and climb it in some really basic boots, some Mythos from La Sportiva, which are the closest to boots from that era that I have. But the big exception was the third pitch. There was just one move in the beginning of the crux sequence for me that I could not do. After falling off the thing probably 4 or 5 times, I started to worry that maybe the ascent wasn't going to happen that day. As a last-ditch effort, I switched out of my Mythos into my Genius, my backup shoes that were in the backpack just in case. And well, with the Genius I did the pitch first try.
Woo! Okay, Carol, I'm safe.
Over the last couple of weeks, I've fallen in love with the slate quarries again. I've rediscovered, no, I haven't rediscovered, I found a new aspect of it that makes it magical, that makes it wonderful. Before it was only about climbing hard routes, but now it's so much more. It's about soaking up all that it has to offer, both the climbing and the history.
Okay.